Hello, everyone. Welcome to this, whatever it is. Maybe we'll come up with a title if we keep doing it. The $100 DraftKings Reignmaker NFT Bankroll Challenge. A lot of words. I am Matthew, aka Dark Sheep. You may know me from such hits as MLB Best Ball streams, or for the 10 of you that might have watched that, or you might know me from random Discord channels where I hang out and talk about fantasy sports, daily fantasy, and the like. So we are starting with this year with football, a new DraftKings game. You can almost call it a old DraftKings game with a new skin, but there is some additional elements, I think, that really make it stand out than the normal Sunday showdown, whatever NFL DFS stuff. Good morning, good evening, hello, Hoot. I don't know why I said good morning. We're doing this live. Maybe we get some reactions or some interactions. All right, so let's talk about what is Reignmakers. So Reignmakers is a NFT daily fantasy platform game. I guess they like to call it a game, skill game, because we're not gambling. It's a skilled game. That you are building rather than building based off a salary cap and having an entire player pool available to you as if it were the regular DraftKings contests, you are building with cards. And these cards are NFTs on the Polygon blockchain, but they, as of now, are tied to just being used here. So if you haven't already, everybody that has a DraftKings account or makes one, you can claim a free 6-card pack, which I think, at least for me, based on that pack, really kind of kicked off this idea of the Bankroll Challenge. A lot of the content I've seen so far, like the Brandon Adams podcasts and all the high scoring or high dollar people talking about it, have put in a lot of money. They're playing at a really high level. They have huge counts, or they've paid a lot for really rare cards. I'm guessing that you can hear my dog squeaking her toy maybe in the background. She decided to just start doing that right now, so that's cool. But that's what living with dogs is. A random adventure. So yeah, everybody gets this free 6-card starter pack. I haven't really seen what other people got in theirs. We'll get to what I got in mine and how we're going to use that for this challenge. Then step 3 is learn how the game works. Hopefully I can help you do that a little bit. I haven't completely figured everything out yet. I've done a little bit of research, read some articles, listened to some podcasts. There was a Spaces yesterday hosted by Lucky Trader which has it's like an NFT research platform, I guess you would call it. And they hosted Matt Kalish from DraftKings the other day, but this is all like people worrying about all the money they've already put into it, and that's not really what I care about right now. We're trying to compete with some of these people that have put a lot of money into it. All right. So yeah, and then step 4, draft your players. Snag a guaranteed superstar player in special packs. We'll get to that. I did get one of these superstar packs. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. We'll find out as we go along. Build more lineups, buy more stuff. Then there is a secondary market built into this, which we will eventually get to you buying something on as we finish up with this first week's lineup. And then join more and more. More money, more problems. Whoa. Don't want to go there. All right, so I got a little sheet. Oh man, I'm really good at this. Let's go. You don't care about me. Let's shrink me down. What's the layout I want? This one. There we go. All right. So here is my little thing of what we're going to go through. Game intro. Kind of did that. Look at contests. We'll look at what I have as part of my inventory after what I've opened so far, where that leaves us with our $100 that we are trying to compete with. And then we're going to do I want to talk about ownership and maybe being able to predict ownership based on the superstars and how you can only use, or how you are able to use those in the lineups, and how that restricts how you can build a lineup. And then we'll finish off this lineup that I've mostly got everything kind of started, but we'll do one additional thing. So let's look at the games. I think so. There are showdown contests where you need four players, I believe. We're not going to look at any of that or think about that. Obviously, it is going to be there's like some premium on cards that are on teams that have a lot of showdown contests. So a lot of primetime games, they're gonna probably have a little bit higher value as for the entire season because they are going to have more solo showdown contest games. But for starting out this $100 challenge, we're just going to focus on the main Sunday slate. So let's look at that. Let's filter out. All right. So the next thing that they have here is these different tiers of contests. Each one is more expensive to enter. The high rollers are just like buying these Reignmaker cards and competing at just like among themselves, which is kind of nice. That we don't have to necessarily compete with them. A lot of their money is going towards these higher tier things. So we're just going to talk about, for this, because we're starting with a low bankroll, we're going to just try to compete at the core level. So I'm going to filter on the core. And then, so that means we need to make a lineup on the core tier. We need 5 different players. We need a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver / tight end, and a flex player. They're really, it's really kind of funny to me that this layout is set up such that immediately you try entering into a contest and they're immediately trying to get you to buy more cards from the market. Hey, look, you could have Patrick Mahomes superstar for just $25. That's all you got to do. Did you want Justin Herbert? He's pretty good, huh? You actually have to filter to your cards to see them. But we'll get to that. So yeah, we're looking at being able to put together one lineup this first week. I don't want to spend the whole $100 because obviously not. If we're just going to focus on these Sunday main slates, your players aren't always going to be playing on the main slate. So I want to leave some leeway, or if somebody gets hurt. So I'm not looking to spend it all. So we're just going to try entering one lineup and one contest. Once you enter a card into a contest, you cannot use it again in another one. So you can't build the lineup and enter it in all of these contests. I have not really dug into what is available. There's some weird structures. Almost all of the contests are unlimited number of entries, which it's going to be important, I think, each week what contests you want to enter. It's not like the regular DraftKings lobby where you know how many people you're going up against, what percentage of people are going to get paid out. And obviously with only 5 lineups, you're going to have a harder time getting leverage and building away from the chalk. But we'll get into that maybe when we start talking about my idea for this first week for my lineup. So like this one is already got 13,513 people. And payout structure. Let's see. So it pays out cash or DraftKings money up to 15,450. So it is still not full, but obviously some people can get crazy and build a bunch of lineups. It's a max 150 contest. Yeah, come on. And then after that, there's a bunch of core packs that you can win. They have this $1 million world championship. They have one of these contests each week. That doesn't seem right. You can enter the full 10,000 times. That doesn't seem right. But so this is something they're going to run every week. And obviously that probably pays out to a lot less people. Yeah, and doesn't have those packs for that second tier of scores. So I don't think this, in terms of starting out a bankroll challenge, we want to enter that. There's kind of a cash game here where the first 4,000 players just win $5. That seems like maybe you could build differently for that, but it also seems kind of boring. So probably not going to enter that one. There is a smaller contest here with 1K to first that pays out to 2,780 people. It's already it's a max 20. Oh no, that's the cash game. Yeah. Oh, it's a max 1. Maybe this is what we want to enter, but I'm thinking maybe if we really want to, because we're not paying an entry fee and really our money's going towards cards, I'm probably going to start out and entering this core fiat frenzy with the idea that even if we don't get a top tier score, we could get maybe a pack. Then after that, there's a satellite for $20 tickets to the regular DFS contest, Millie Maker. So there's a winner take all. That's kind of fun. Just build like a really weird lineup for that, maybe. I don't know. Here is one that pays out in rare Javonte Williams and core Javonte Williams. Here's a Keenan Allen, Kyler Murray. Let's see here. Less people want Keenan Allen. Let's see. And then there is a rookie prize pack. Events of rookies. You could win some cards here. That's 500 people. All right. So I think we're gonna enter this. I don't know what. So yeah, that's kind of the contest selection ideas. So let's see what we have, what I've got for my inventory. Actually, first let's look over here. Here's my running total so far. My dog's going crazy in the other room. I don't know if you can hear that, but hopefully not. If it's not, whatever. I don't care. It's a dog. You can handle it. So yeah, when I started, I opened up my free pack, and then I bought this was before I knew I was going to try this challenge, but this is what I ended up buying was the core booster pack, which gave me three players, I think. And I happened to get this Myles Garrett rare. Defense isn't really used right now. They're going to be, I think, week 4 expanding to larger rosters. And we can talk about that when that happens. So I sold that right away for what I could get for it. And then I also bought a superstar booster pack. Oh, I kind of skipped over the superstar idea. So when you look at the entry and you look at the overview, all of these contests have a 1 superstar max. So what does that mean? That means that there are 17 players, I believe, out there right now that have this superstar status. And you can only have one of those per lineup, which is sort of how they get away with not having everybody building like superstar teams. So I think a lot of the ownership is going to be based on which of these superstars are in which situations on different weeks. And I think this is like the most interesting place we want to attack in terms of leveraging what the field is going to be doing with their superstar in a lineup. And, how maybe we can build a little bit differently. And so this superstar booster pack was basically a guaranteed 1 superstar card. So what do we have? We have one other thing is when you claim your free 6-card starter pack, those cards are bound to your account. You cannot sell those on the market. So for that reason, I think that if you are trying to play on a budget, that you're going to want to try and build your lineup with this in mind, that these free cards you probably want to leverage your free cards. Bob Barker asks, are you a data scientist? No, I am an electrical engineer, but spend a lot of time playing fantasy. So when I opened my pack, I got this. I got a Mark Andrews, a Rashad Bateman, a Mario Davis, Justin Fields, Deontay Johnson, and Ricky James Jr. So I cannot get rid, even though it says sell these items. These are bound to my account. I can't get rid of them. So that really kind of led me down this path for this first week to use Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman and try and build a Ravens stack for this first week. And probably a few weeks going forward, this is going to be the core of what we're trying to build. So that's why I went and bought a Lamar for 19. So when it comes out to what I've sold and what I've bought, right now our bankroll is sitting at $59. I would like to hopefully leave ourselves with $50 left over by the time we're done talking here and entering into our contest. Let's see, we don't need that one open anymore. The superstar I got in my superstar pack was CeeDee Lamb, who plays on Sunday Night Football and is not part of the main slate this week. Therefore, right now I'm just gonna hold on to him. I could have sold him probably for the pack value back. He's like $12, $13, made a few dollars. In terms of the bankroll, I felt like having this superstar for a potential build next week or the following week made sense to hold on to for now. But I do have this defensive player that I can sell from my classic pack up for sale for like $1, just because that's as lowest you can list anything. So that leaves us with our core that we're going to be building around this week is Lamar, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman. So I have built a little spreadsheet here for this week. Let's make this a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger. Hopefully everybody can read it, maybe. If anybody's watching this and wants to comment on whether they can read this or not, let's make it bigger. Make it so real people can see it. Oh, too big. All right. So I've built this spreadsheet. Let's go. I want to get this all on one screen. And this beforehand. Oh, well. All right. There we go. I built this spreadsheet and kind of went through the depth charts of all of likely the relevant players that are going to be available. As I think these are all available as cards. I don't know if everybody's available, but I tried to put together just like each team and who could like even remotely be relevant to this 5-man field lineup. So then I also added some team totals from my friend James McCool. He's got his free article. I recommend you go read it. paydirtdfs.com. He's got a free stacks and stats breakdown. That's where I took these team totals from. So they're not like the live Vegas, whatever. It's whenever he published this, but it's good enough for what we're trying to do right now. But yeah, he even calls out the Ravens here, which was nice to read after I had planned this, that he was thinking that the Ravens are a pretty decent low-owned upside play because they play. Who do they play? I forget. They play the Jets this week. Let's see. So they play the Jets. They should be able to do pretty much whatever they want. And The idea with sticking with the Ravens is I saw J.K. Dobbins was questionable for this weekend, but based on what Lamar said the other day is that it might even be a few weeks before he's actually ready to play. So this offense is pretty much, if he's out, this offense, the running backs are Mike Davis and Sony Michel, who failed a physical and got cut from Miami. And then as far as their wide receivers go, they basically have Rashad Bateman. And I put Devin Duvernay here. If you like somebody else, I don't know. People have been talking up lively, but pretty much their offense this first week against the Jets, who they have a pretty decent total. They're not going to be the Chiefs or the Chargers this week in terms of Vegas totals, but they have a decent total, and all of their offense is going to be basically Lamar, Rashad, and Andrews. Like, I mean, the chance that Devin Duvernay gets 2 touchdowns it's in the range of outcomes, but likely their offense is just going to be Lamar, Rashad, and Mark Andrews, which is what we are betting on by making this. And I believe they have I can't remember offhand. We could look it up, but I don't want to open another tab and go off on a tangent. But I think they have a pretty easy schedule to start the season. So building this for hopefully the next couple of weeks, assuming Dobbins is out for a couple of weeks, and even if he comes back, he's getting mixed in with Mike Davis, who we're not too worried about, who got somehow taken over by Cordero Patterson last year, who wasn't even a running back. And so that's the theory. That's what we're banking on. So you look at here, all of these red names with stars are players who have the superstar status, according to DraftKings, set by DraftKings. So these are the players that are only allowed to be one of in each lineup. My assumption is that someone like Najee Harris is not going to be in anybody's lineup. Maybe 1 or 2, but not too many. But then everybody else, I feel like, maybe with the exception of Aaron Rodgers here, everybody else could get some ownership. Now, there's a question that comes in when you start thinking about these superstars and the ability to only use one in your lineup. And that question is, what position do you really want to target? Which positions have the ability, like if you're locking your lineup into that one superstar, you want to make sure that that player has the ability to outshine the other players at that position. So you're paying a higher cost in that you can only have one of them in your lineup. It's not like salary. So normally, your restriction when you're building your lineup is the salary. So it's hard to put Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry together because then your salary gets eaten up there and your other positions are a little weaker. So when it comes down to it, the quarterback position tends to score in a closer range of outcomes. So Davis Mills is going to score closer to Patrick Mahomes than who do we want to pick on here? Antonio Gibson is going to score closer or further from Austin Eckler. If you think about the ceiling of the position and the type of player and how much, like Austin Eckler is going to get as much work as he can. Unlike a guy like Antonio Gibson, who they're going to work in J.D. McKissick. So his ceiling is, maybe it's better to talk about Jonathan Taylor. But that sort of guy who's just going to get a bunch of work, and on the days they score well, they're going to score really well. I can definitely hear arguments that you're going to want to ignore the superstar quarterbacks, and I don't really have a disagreement with that, because likely Lamar's ceiling is very similar to Herbert's ceiling, and their medium games are very similar, and their medium game is a lot closer to Ryan Tannehill and etc. So I definitely think that if you have a choice, that you're going to want to focus on a running back or a wide receiver superstar, and build off of that. But when we go back to trying to leverage that first free pack that we got, and the packs that we excuse me, the packs that I've opened, I have the Mark Andrews, I have the Rashad Bateman. It made sense to me to go and spend on the superstar Lamar Jackson and really get that bunch, like I said, of hopefully most of their touchdown points. Let's say that they should score a lot. If they do score a lot, it's most likely going to come through those guys, and we really just have that big block of points together. So while we're probably giving up some ceiling in terms of how we're spending this superstar status on a quarterback, I think based on the offense that we're doing it in, like if we were going to take Patrick Mahomes, I don't know how you stack him in week one. You could stack him with Kelsey and then leave the rest out to the window. I don't know. Out for chance. I don't know what their offense is going to do. So definitely right now, I don't know what you're going to do. I could see like Herbert with Allen and Williams, and then try to fade Eckler and leverage the lineups that are using Eckler as their superstar. Chargers are one of the few teams. Chargers and Vikings are the two teams that have two superstars on their team, which is kind of rules them out in my mind in terms of how you want to build a team stack for a lineup. And then if you look at Rodgers this week, I mean, with Lazard out, it's going to be. I just put question marks. I don't know if Tanyan's going to play. I think he practiced today, from what I saw, but like, I don't know how you could play Rodgers by himself and maybe build some sort of game stack of position players, like a Chiefs Chargers, Keenan, Kelsey, Juju sort of lineup. I guess I could see that sort of build this week. That would make a lot of sense to me. But again, going back to trying to build on the bankroll challenge and build off what we got in our free and early packs, we're just gonna roll with the Ravens. So that's what I want to talk about there, and the superstar and what position you want your superstar to be. I definitely, like I said, I definitely think there's a higher ceiling and a higher chance of separating from the pack at the other positions, like the wide receivers and the running backs, but we're not doing that this week. The other hope would be that this is a thought that other people are having, and they're coming to these same conclusions, because I'm not by any means a data scientist or a like really awesome high stakes fantasy player. Like this sort of idea of certain positions having a higher ceiling and ability to separate from the pack isn't like groundbreaking idea that I had. So there is something to say for perhaps the field is thinking this also. So we got our inventory. Let's see. This is why I wrote notes so I didn't get lost. All right. And we went through our bankroll. We've got our $59 left. All right. So ownership. When we look at this is more just a theory that I have. I'm wondering if we go to the depth chart and we look at our superstars, I'm wondering if we can get an idea of ownership based on the price of players. So if we go to, that's the game lobby. I guess I don't have it open. Actually, let's go to this Lucky Trader tool that I found. They just launched some tools on Lucky Trader for marketplace and contest selection. I haven't dug into all of them, or I don't have a paid account or anything, so these are free. What I wanted to do was take a look at the core level, take a look at filter on the superstars, and go by price. Yeah. Let's go just, we want, I don't know what these sets mean. We want everybody from the same set. Are these guys all, this is all right, so this is all 17 core superstars by price. And immediately this idea that I had that the ownership can be looked at by the price kind of directly goes against my idea that people would be playing wide receivers and running backs as their superstar player. But if we look at this from a context of, if we bring in some of our knowledge of collectibles and NFTs in general, quarterbacks are going to have a premium price. Pretty much the only rookie cards people want that hold any sort of value are quarterbacks, like autographs, rookie cards, all these sort of like collectible things. You look at NFL all day, people care about quarterbacks. So there could be some premium on these prices just because people like quarterbacks. So it doesn't completely throw out our idea, but maybe it does. And like someone like Josh Allen, people are going to just want to jam because his wide receivers, he wasn't in our spreadsheet because he's not on the Sunday slate. But if we turn back on our Thursday night football teams, all of it, you can buy Josh Allen and then play Steph Diggs and Gabe Davis every week. And like, that's pretty much your lineup structure and core. Like every week you can play that core and be pretty safe. So I can see why Josh Allen would have a premium. And same thing maybe with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Herbert. But so let's take a look at this. So if we filter out our quarterbacks, can we do two? Okay, now we'll just look at the running backs. So yeah, I think this is pretty safe, like in general, directionally, that we can say that Dalvin Cook, which is interesting as far as superstars go, Dalvin Cook and Najee Harris are going to be at the bottom of the ownership. So if you are feeling like that's a way you want to build the lineup, I could definitely see that trying to build like a Dalvin Cook core to your cards, or if you open a Dalvin Cook or Najee Harris, I think you're going to be immediately different, and you can pretty much build whatever around it that you would want. Because I think that we can judge by these prices than just our knowledge of people and what they like to play in regular weekly DFS, that these guys are going to be not play too much. And then for wide receivers, we have Justin Jefferson up at the top. We have Cooper Kupp, which is pretty silly after last night. If you're speculating, if you're trying to play the market on this, I definitely could see, even they have this like proprietary thing where they're trying to estimate the price based on the value this week and how much they're going to score throughout the season, which is pretty cool. Like I don't know too much about that, and I'm not looking to speculate right now, but this is actually would be pretty interesting to go out and buy a couple of Cooper Kupps right now and just make like $20 or whatever if his prices go up. Obviously, if you're going to speculate, I have no idea what this market's going to do, how many people are going to keep playing, who's going to start dumping when they are losing the first couple of weeks, how many more cards DraftKings is going to print, all these question marks that I don't have any sort of answer to. So speculating seems pretty dangerous, but it's also potentially high upside if this catches on and gets popular. So, we can assume that JJ and Kupp and CeeDee Lamb, well, he's not on this slate, but yeah, these guys probably be, maybe, I don't know, it might just all be spread out ownership. I don't know. That was just an idea that I had and kind of wanted to talk through. All right, so let's go to our lineup build. So we have, let's say we're going to enter this main contest. Which I'm not entirely sure. I have to look through these contests a little more on my own and figure out what exactly we're going to enter. But let's say we're going to do this. So we have our core here. We have Lamar Jackson. I think we can't run Dearness Johnson out here and have any chance of winning. We'd have to get like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt hurt in the same game for that to play out. And then we're going to have Rashad Bateman. We're going to have Mark Andrews. Then our flex. So one question I do have is like how defensive players are going to score relative, but I can't imagine that they're going to have a ceiling comparable to offensive players. This is probably a leak in my game, and maybe we investigate this one of these weeks on one of these streams as we go, as how defenses score compared to offensive players. And because nobody's going to play them. Like my immediate reaction was to not play them, and pretty much everybody. Okay, Eric says it's just the team's defense, pretty sure. That could be very true. Let's actually back out of here. Here, let's go to details. Rules and scoring. Offense, defensive, and special teams. Okay. This doesn't really help because this also has kicker. I guess kickers are in this. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Eric, thank you for adding this. I appreciate it. Yeah, I did not realize this. Scoring for a defense or special teams player with the exception of a kicker, is based on the scoring for the entire defense and special teams of such selected players' team. Excellent. Okay. So that's good to know. And that definitely leads me to believe that if this is using regular defensive scoring for DraftKings, that it'll be very, very seldom will they outscore offensive players. So, but thank you. I appreciate that information. That's sort of what I was hoping to do here, was learn together. So I'm really, really glad you joined and added that info. Yep. Okay. Yep. More useful for showdown slates. Yep. Makes sense. All right. So here's where we already have our core idea. It's really weird to say core and then they have the core set and all that. But so we need a running back and a flex play. I'm hoping to leave, maybe $40 left of our bankroll for future weeks. So what I want to think about doing and kind of talk through here is go to these depth charts and try to figure out where we can fill in a value play, a card that is probably cheaper than going to the just buying the max amount of players, and trying to leverage off of where we think the ownership's going to be. So if we think about this slate and we look at this Chiefs-Chargers game, we know that people are going to play stacks from this game. We know this Eagles game, which is a full team, a high upside QB, high upside wide receivers. We know that this Eagles, who have 26-point Vegas total, are going to be a popular team. And especially in that sort of build, the Hurts, Brown, Smith sort of build. Or if not, as a stack, people are going to play A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts because they're not superstars. You could play them together. And let's actually look here. Let's get rid of our superstar and look at the team. Let's look at Philly. Yep. Yeah. So you can see here, if you look at this core Jalen Hurts in the booster, and if you think back to the price for Lamar, which is like half the price, we know people are playing Jalen Hurts. And we look at the price of these other players, A.J. Brown, $10 more than Devonta Smith. We know that he's going to be played more than Devonta Smith. And going down the line, so on and so forth. We look at, let's get rid of that. Let's look at Kansas City. So here we have the superstar in quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is actually less than Travis Kelce, which tells us immediately that Travis Kelce is going to be played with Patrick Mahomes and by himself in a lot of these lineups that we're going to be competing against. So if we're looking to spend less money than them and leverage this knowledge, maybe we want to put a Juju or a CEH as our running back. So if it turns out that CEH is the guy, then maybe we leverage all the lineups with Mahomes, all the lineups with Kelce, and the stack. So let's look at Chargers. like, I don't know if this price analysis idea is going to carry forward into other weeks, because I don't know that. I don't know how much this is going to go up and down week to week. We can evaluate that as we go, but I think for this first week, we can get a really good idea of how these players are going to get played in these contests based on their current price. So Justin Herbert, superstar. Austin Eckler, both superstar players, both $20. Keenan Allen, 16. Mike Williams. So again, here we're going to have a lot of Herbert, Allen, Williams stacks, or Eckler, and I guess Eckler's probably going to be on his own. He's probably not going to be paired with one of the wide receivers, but we can guess that. So I think maybe like, I don't really want to go to Josh Palmer or anyone else on this team. I don't really think there's a ton of great leverage here. Maybe Mike Williams, but I don't know how much more he's going to be owned than Keenan Allen. And if you're building the Herbert stack, you're probably going to put both of them. That leads me to another question: is just how much are people actually going to stack in this? And again, we can see in upcoming weeks what we think that ends up being, and if people aren't stacking, maybe this sort of analysis is pointless too. So yeah, Colts team total of 26. Like, Jonathan Taylor, he's just going to get played. We know he's going to be owned. We're not playing our superstar running back. He's a fine play. We know Matt Ryan is not going to get played. I think if we look at this, we're going to see Michael Pittman, high priced, and the rest of the team. Yeah, and even then, Michael Pittman has a similar price to Mike Williams. So he's probably a guy that's going to get played by himself, and nobody's going to play Matt Ryan. So here's another idea for this week and upcoming weeks. And maybe if we get lucky and win, we can start building more lineups. But pretty much every week, you can probably build a Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman, Nyheim Hines stack. Maybe somebody stands out. I don't think the rookie is out yet. I don't think the rookie card is out for their rookie wide receiver, whose name's escaping me right now. But this is potentially a way to leverage Jonathan Taylor. It's a team with a high total, and maybe this is where you build a Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman stack. Probably you can try Nyheim Hines, but his ceiling is pretty limited. So yeah, let's take a look at our Ravens idea that we had here and go with Baltimore. That'd be at the top. Yeah, so Mark Andrews, $17. We know he's going to get played. We know Lamar's going to get played. But we look at this price on Rashad Bateman, which is much lower than the similar wide receivers ones that we've seen in the similar total games. And he's not going to get played. So I feel pretty good about this idea that we have a Baltimore passing core that has some ownership on two of the guys, but the other guy is pretty much not owned. Bengals, probably pays to take a look at them. All right, so Joe Burrow, who's not listed as a superstar, is $25. Joe Mixon is $23. So you can actually build like a pretty decent stack with this whole team if you want. You could build a Burrow, Mixon, Chase, and really capture that. Sorry, jump back here. Who says we got to remember we were probably buying at the top. So which teams will be good enough to use multiple slates, and who will retain or gain value? Yeah, I agree. I think most of the teams we've talked about so far, yeah, with $100, yeah, and that's where I was trying to build off that initial free core that I had. Um, but back to what you're saying, I think most of these teams that we've sort of looked at these pricing ideas and ownership ideas for should have um, value throughout the season. Um, Dolphins are interesting because you could. Yeah, this is another good point, and we want to win quickly before everyone else figures it out. So, yeah, that's what I'm hoping, that some of this idea of thinking through the ownership will maybe give us a leg up early, but who knows? People might be entering 150 lineups into these things after they've jammed thousands of dollars into cards. And that might be the smart way to do it. Got to have money to make money. But that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to have fun. I mean, winning's fun, so that's kind of a dumb thing. So one of my ideas going into this that I don't think is going to pan out was I was thinking that the Cincinnati, based on the superstar being Jamar Chase, I was thinking that this Joe Burrow, Chase, T. Higgins sort of stack would be, yeah, exactly. We got to beat the guys playing the best plays because they're going to be out there. People are going to be spending as much as they can to build the best lineup. And we know as longtime fantasy players, or even if you don't, you're a newer fantasy player, the idea that the best plays are scoring the highest points every week is not true. The nice thing that we have is that we don't have to put money in each week in order to enter the contest. So even if we're not playing the best plays every week, we're not going down in our bankroll when we lose, as long as you're not buying more cards. So yeah, let's take a look at this Dolphins stack quick. Miami. So this is pretty interesting. I realized that maybe we can make this bigger. That's what we should have done. We'll learn. We'll get better at this. This Miami stack, Tyreek Hill, $20. Tua, $15. Waddle is only $6.85. So if you're watching this and you're looking for a stack to build around a superstar running back, this seems like maybe if you open one of these guys, that if you open like a Tua or a Tyreek, this might be a really interesting stack that you could start building your core around. Because I don't know if Tyreek's going to go off week 1. We don't know what this offense is going to be like, but we can assume. Well, maybe we can't assume. We can guess or hope that this is going to be something that hits some week. So if we have a superstar running back and we have one of these guys, maybe we want to invest into another part of the stack, because based on the price that we're seeing here on Tua and like the secondary receiver in the stack, Waddle, we know that this probably isn't going to be a super popular, or we can guess, we hope, based on this idea of price matching ownership. This might be a different, interesting idea too. stack around one of these superstar running backs. All right. Who else we got up here in the top? Titans. Here's another one that I'm going to guess has very little ownership outside of Derrick Henry. If we look at Tennessee, and maybe if we have some success here early, we can start building these. We'll call them a leverage stack. So yeah. I don't know why I thought anybody was going to be worth anything. It is interesting that Ryan Tannehill is $12, pretty similar to Tua's price. But yeah, I'm guessing that the Ryan Tannehill, Robert Woods stacks in these contests this week are going to be basically zero. So again, here, maybe you invest in Austin Eckler or Jonathan Taylor, and then you can build Ryan Tannehill, Robert Woods, Nick Westbrook-Keeney if you want to get crazy. Maybe you can build that. I hope this lasts long enough to make the playoff showdowns. Cards could get pricey. Yes. So that is another thing. Good point. If you're investing in a team that could potentially make it far in the playoffs, those cards should be valuable for a longer period of time and have more contests that you can enter with them. Not even playoff showdowns, but even playoff contests. Some of these cards are not going to be playable because the team's not in the playoffs. So playoff caliber teams probably have some sort of premium price. And once you get to the Super Bowl, who knows what kind of prize pool they're going to have set aside for that. Yep, sorry, I was muted there. I was coughing and then I was muted. Yeah, so what I was saying while I was muted was that playoff caliber teams should have a more premium price as the season goes on. I don't think we have they've set aside $30 million for prize pools for the whole year. I don't think we have to worry about them turning down the prize pools as they go. I would assume if it was me setting this out, I would make sure I had a certain amount for each week already set aside. And maybe if popularity starts waning, you kind of start pulling from those later to try and beef up some prize pools earlier to try and attract more players. But I think we're pretty safe assuming that they're going to have decent prize pools for this first year. Like Peter Jennings is pointing this out. DraftKings needs this to succeed. They've put a lot into this already. They've kind of built this whole NFT secondary identity. So obviously their sports books bring in plenty of money, but they really need this to succeed. So they're going to do whatever they want or whatever they can to help it succeed. So I'm not going to go through every team that's up here. But this is sort of the idea I think that we can do for going through and figuring out like how owned a stack is going to be, which players are going to be used. Like we can use probably regular DFS ownership and get a good idea too. But again, a lot of that ownership is based off of pricing, like salary restrictions on building your salary restricted lineup. So I think there's going to be some difference in the ownership between the two, unless people are just taking projections and buying lineups each week of the players that are the highest projected. That like there's probably going to be enough people that do that too. But I think overall people are going to build based off of teams they like, teams that are projected for high totals, and players in superstar players that don't have the superstar tag. So like Travis Kelce, he's going to have a lot of ownership because he doesn't have the superstar tag, and he has the ceiling of a superstar. So if you're playing the best plays and you want to put in more than the $100 and not limit yourself to this, like that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to have a couple of these guys like Travis Kelce, AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts. Like you're going to want to target those guys. That's not what we're doing here. So we're trying to look at these teams and figure out which pieces might be good leverage off of the ownership of the other players. So with that being said, I think maybe we can talk. Let's see. Let's take a look at how this works. Let's go to running back, turn off all the cards. We can't filter superstars out. So we go we go through here and we look at Alvin Kamara is going what is this sorted by? I thought this would be sorted by price. I don't know what this list is sorted by. But this does show us that Alvin Kamara is going to be pretty popular this week. Based on his price being $30 over these superstar running backs. They're sorted by fantasy points per game. There we go. Teamwork. Yep. Okay. You're right. Excellent. But in our quest to remain thrifty and not blow all of our bankroll on week 1, so we know this game has the highest total on the week, right? This Chiefs-Chargers game. We know, we go back and look at our Kansas City prices. We've got a running back as part of this game who is $6, pretty good relative value. And we have Juju Smith-Schuster, which is $11. Compare that to jump over to, wish you could select multiple teams. Maybe they'll add that. Compare that to the prices on Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Like, it feels like we can get some value on this Kansas City team. I don't know if we're going to go with it. Probably we're getting to be about over an hour here, so I don't know if I'm going to finalize my lineups and make all of my purchases here. But I will keep track of them here for future episodes, and I'll publish on Sunday, how much we spent and how we built and stuff like that. So yeah, my initial idea is to build off this game, try and find a decent high upside piece. I guess you can argue whether or not CH is a high upside piece at this point with what he's shown us. But so my initial idea is to build off this game for the rest of our lineup and get a value piece like the $6 CEH. Or if you want to get even cheaper, we can go to this Eagles game. Who's FA? Oh, free agent. James White. Oh, man. Already. Sorry, I went too far here. Yeah, so this Eagles team should have a lot of Jalen Hurts teams, and they'll probably get paired with A.J. Brown a lot. So maybe we want to spend $425 on Devonta Smith, who's got a pretty high ceiling, and we'll get leverage on these other things. The other idea is to look at the Colts. I guess we looked at that, and Pittman was pretty expensive. I was thinking maybe we could go with Joe Mixon, but he's pretty expensive. The whole team was. Let's take a look at this Packers running back duo. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to throw $15 at Aaron Jones. I was kind of hoping we could pick up a running back for cheaper. But maybe we can't leverage off one of these high-owned superstars with that. So I will do some more investigating, probably follow the same sort of pattern, look at team projection. Actually, well, let's look at the Saints here for our flex spot. That's an interesting idea. We know that Alvin Kamara is going to get a ton of ownership. I know. Based on his not being a superstar, but bell cow running back. And Jameis Winston's got a decent price. But Michael Thomas, who has plenty of question marks going into the year, but also the potential to get a lot of passes his way from Jameis Winston because, I mean, they got nothing. They've got nothing else other than Kamara, who's going to be owned. So Michael Thomas is someone that interests me as our flex spot. And that, so if we get 460, we think about that gives us like $10 or $11 maybe to play with, to have $40 left of our bankroll. So that's just sort of the ideas that I had. Any questions before we wrap up here? Appreciate you guys watching this. Somebody go buy my Max Crosby for $1 so I can have $1 more. And let me know, give me any feedback on things you might want to talk about on these streams. I'm hoping to do one a week and sort of at least one a week. Next one we'll probably start looking back at what happened week one, what kind of scores and what kind of lineups people built. So yeah, that's where we're at. Thank you for watching. Somehow you stumbled on this knot. All my contacts here. I am Dark Sheep DFS on Twitter. Follow me, tweet me. I don't know. Find me on some random fantasy Discord. DM me. I don't know. Let's talk. Let's let's build this idea of building the stuff on a budget. Thank you, Hoot. You're always one of my biggest supporters for these sort of things that I try to do. So I appreciate you very much. Thank you, sir. And with that, I will say good night, and good luck, and may all the touchdowns be in your favor. I should probably work on an outro or something. I don't know. All right. Bye.